Hello, my name is Betsy Opyt. I'm a registered dietitian with Healthy Concepts Consulting. Every month I create a monthly health newsletter and I always feature a healthy functional food. This month I chose chia seeds. Now, I'm sure you've probably heard of the chia pet. Well, the chia seed is the actual little seed that grows the plant, the chia pet. They found that this chia seed is actually very nutritional. It actually dates back to the ancient Aztecs in Mexico. They used this chia seed to help give them energy and endurance for their long runs and fighting and all that they used to do. Well, this chia seed has now been brought to the States and is now a very healthy, functional food that most people are starting to incorporate into their diet. Now, you may have ventured out and tried flaxseed before, and that might be your new superfood. Well, the chia seed actually far surpasses the flaxseed in regards to nutritional benefits. Chia seed actually is a protein and a fat. It's a very monounsaturated fat that is a rich source in omega-3 fatty acids. It's also extremely high in fiber, specifically soluble fiber. You'll see this little tiny seed kind of resembles maybe more like a poppy seed. It comes in a dark color, it's really tiny, but the amazing part of the chia seed is when you submerge it into the water, the actual gel part will surround the outside of the seed. This is soluble fiber. This actually slows the transit time in your digestive tract. It's good for balancing out your lower GI system. It's good for slowing the absorption of carbohydrates into your body and creating fullness. So it actually helps with weight management, it helps with managing blood sugars, and it helps with keeping you fuller at your meals. I actually took some of this chia seed and submerged it into water, about a tablespoon of chia seed to a tablespoon of water, and you can see how the seed itself turn into a gel-like substance. So it's very powerful. It actually can absorb up to 12 times its weight in water. So it's actually good for hydrating the body and balancing out the electrolytes. So I've been working with this chia seed for about 2 years into my diet, trying to find different ways to consume it. Well, I've come across different recipes and just kind of found what worked for me. And my favorite recipe that I'm bringing to you in my newsletter is a chia pudding recipe. So taking your basic tapioca or vanilla or chocolate pudding, taking a little twist to it, adding chia seeds as the thickener, and actually getting a more nutritious snack, and healthy and tasty as well. So the chia seed recipe is actually very simple. All you'll need is some sort of glass jug, Tupperware. I use this just because it has the measurements on the side. You can alter the ingredients to your tasting and liking. I'm just giving you a sample of what I found that works in my family. I use the base as the liquid. You could always use water if you prefer, but I like to get a little additional calcium. Even though the chia seed is a rich source of calcium, I use an almond milk, rice milk, soy milk, or you could just do traditional cow's milk as well. The almond milks, I always try to get the unsweetened because you don't want to add additional extra sugar if possible. The vanilla unsweetened from Blue Diamond is an excellent one. That's the one I'm demoing with you today. You can also, if you want to do a chocolate-based pudding, try the unsweetened chocolate. Or you could do your traditional soy milk, of course, buying the lighter versions. It can be flavored vanilla or chocolate, but you don't want the additional sugar. Or you could even do a rice, a hemp milk, a hazelnut milk, whatever milk base that you prefer. But in this recipe, you want to use about an 8-ounce portion of the milk. So I'm just going to pour this into my measuring glass here. Okay. Then you're going to add your chia seeds. So for every 8 ounces, you're going to use 4 tablespoons of the chia seed. So this is just your basic chia seed. You can find this at most of your health food stores or Whole Food or any health food store in your general location. So there's 2, 3, 4. Now you could stop here. Of course, your chia pudding wouldn't have a lot of flavor to it, and I like to really mix things up and add different things in just to give different flavorings. This one I'm going to actually make a cinnamon raisin, so I'm adding 2 tablespoons of raisins into it. Sometimes I add slivered apples. One of my favorite things is the bare fruit sliced apples. They're a dehydrated baked apple, so it doesn't have additional fat or anything added into it. It's just the only ingredients apples. They're dry, they're crispy. I'll add that in. It'll soak up some of the moisture, and when the end result, you actually have these nice chewy pieces of apple. You could sliver fresh apple into it. You could put blueberries. You could mash up bananas. You can use any particular fruit that you prefer. So I mentioned this is going to be a cinnamon flavored, so I'm actually going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon in. Or excuse me, half of a teaspoon of cinnamon. I don't want to make it too cinnamony. Okay, If you want a little sweetness, sometimes I add a little agave nectar into it. Again, you don't have to add additional sweetness into this. Nowadays, these agave nectars have different flavorings. You could get a strawberry flavoring, you could get a hazelnut flavoring, vanilla flavoring. I'm actually putting, since this is cinnamon flavor, just a dash of cinnamon agave nectar. So half of a teaspoon of this, just a little. Okay. You could also play around with extract. So if you didn't want to add an actual agave nectar to cut back on the sugar, nowadays there's so many different flavoring of extracts. Sometimes I make coconut chia pudding. You could make cinnamon, as I did, butterscotch, coffee flavored chia pudding. So whatever you desire, you can always add into this. So I'm not adding any extra extract because I already put enough cinnamon and agave nectar into it. The last thing I'm going to add in is a half a teaspoon of vanilla. Again, you could add one of the other extracts. I just do a little bit of vanilla just for extra flavoring. Okay. That is it. That is how simple this is. I always make this the night before. Usually I pack it in my lunch or my daughter's lunch the next day because it needs time overnight to gel in the refrigerator. As I mentioned, these little chia seeds will start to soak up all the liquid in here and you'll actually end up with pudding. So basically you're going to want some sort of container that you can shake. So this will be a little bit of exercise for you. We're going to shake up our chia seeds. You're just going to mix and incorporate it all together. So you're going to have this nice little liquid concoction here with the chia seeds floating into it. You're just going to place it into your refrigerator for maybe a few hours. I chill it overnight. The next day you're going to have 8 ounces of wonderful, healthy, nutritious chia seeds. So I really encourage you, go out, buy your first batch of chia seeds. I guarantee you're going to fall in love with it. There's so many versatile things that you can do with it, whether you incorporate it as a snack. I sometimes will sprinkle it into my yogurt. There's a product out there called Chia Goodness. This actually is already enhanced with other flavors. This one is a chocolate. They have cinnamon almond, and you can actually use this as a hot cooked cereal. Or you can make your own off of your own plain bag of chia seeds in the morning. Do very similar to what I did here. Cook it into the microwave, make it nice and hot, and you have a replacement to oatmeal. As I mentioned, it's very high in fiber. Per tablespoon, it's got 4 grams of fiber, so we use 4 tablespoons in here. So you can see it's an excellent source of fiber. It's very high in your healthy fats. It's a good source of protein, and on top of it, it's delicious. So from my kitchen to yours, this is Betsy Opyt from Healthy Concepts Consulting. Have a healthy day.